Hey, what's good, y'all? C Will here with the Passive Income Network. I got a special guest, a friend back on. I got my guy Sami tapping in the podcast with me today. What's good, Sami?
Dude, thank you so much for having me on again. It's always a pleasure. I'm good, brother. Good. For hearing your voice and for seeing you, man.
Oh, most definitely. I appreciate you for sure. Let's get to it. So some of the audience here watching have don't know who you are. So let's do a quick introduction. Who is Sami? And then let's kind of tell them where you at in the world.
Awesome. So my name's Sami. I'm the founder of Nirvana Movement. I'm an elite coach for the World Calisthenics Organization, and I'm one of the founders of a new decentralized application called BlockFit, where we pay people to work out in a currency called XDC. So that's coming out really soon. I'm living over here in Scandinavia, so doing my thing over here too, and originally from the UK, so kind of back and forth between both countries, trying to get things set up internationally as well. So yeah, that's me.
Excellent.
That's a little bit about me, dude.
For sure, for sure. Well, y'all know who I am, C Will, passive income. But yeah, let's talk more about this Nirvana. So again, let's a little bit back into your background. I know you were a fighter as well. Can you speak on that and then your transition into what you're doing right now?
Yeah, so no doubt, man. I started doing like Brazilian jiu-jitsu when I was like 17. So I've been doing it for a long time. Got like a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, did MMA for a few years, had a couple of MMA fights. Was always training, being a personal trainer for 12 years. So always in the gym, in and out. Um, yeah, stopped kind of my fighting career a couple of years back and wanted to focus more so on more of a passion in something I like to teach, which is calisthenics. So recently became an elite coach for the World Calisthenics Organization, which is awesome. There's not many coaches in the world, and to be one of the only few is a great privilege. And of course, now we're starting to educate people about blockchain into the education that we have with the WCO as well. So we're trying to get athletes and coaches to learn about what blockchain is and how they can use it in their line of work.
Oh, most definitely. That's dope. Then my final questions there about your health and fitness. What was it like preparing yourself to get into this World Health Organization? What's that journey like?
Man, it was a crazy one because and I have to give like massive thanks to one of my mentors, Johnny Garcia. And
Shout
you've
out to
met Johnny,
Johnny.
well, you spoke,
Yeah.
yeah, Big Johnny, you spoke to him, and I watched a podcast with him, and he basically was breaking down how he wanted to create something where he could give something back to the world and give an incentive for people to work out by paying them in cryptocurrency in XDC. So as soon as I saw that podcast, I reached out to him. I sent him a message, and we've been working together hard behind the scenes for 2 years. He was already an elite coach for the World Calisthenics Organization. He's like a super athlete. So he had the connections, and he just basically got me to run my own fitness challenge where we would sort of onboard people from Web 2 to Web 3. And, through the hard work, the CEO, Brendan of the WCO, saw what I was doing and wanted me on the team. So it's been a little bit of a journey the past couple of years and just doing a lot of things behind the scenes. But now we have something to show the world.
Most definitely. And both of y'all, I'll say Johnny as well. I seen a video of him the other day. Hella athletic. It's kind of
Mhm.
crazy spinning on the bars, all the pull ups,
Yeah.
buff guy. And then same for you as well. Um, why? Okay, my question is, why don't you, I guess, necessarily use weights? And what's the advantage of doing calisthenics?
We use weights too.
Yeah. Okay. I just never seen no
When,
videos of you
yeah,
lifting.
yeah. It's like I prefer to do sort of body weight training. Don't get me wrong. Like you want to use weights for your legs, especially doing sort of like squats or deadlifts, things of that nature. But more so when it comes to the upper body, it's calisthenics for me, and it's a pure form of movement where you can kind of express yourself in an art whilst you move. So I like the freedom of the movement. I like learning about like the mechanics of movement, how your body's supposed to move, like the
Yep.
chains in your body, posterior change. the different ways you can move, and it stimulates your brain, man, and you have to concentrate. And sometimes, we're like thinking about so many things and our minds everywhere, but when you're doing certain movements, your sole focus is just on that movement. So it's almost like an active meditation, right?
Mm.
So you can kind of tap into that zone and get the feeling there. So that's why I prefer to train sort of calisthenics more so. It's for longevity as well. I want to be older, being able to train. I don't want to wreck my body.
All right, hey, listen, I'm gonna pull up. You're gonna have to show me some things. I'm gonna prepare myself
Damn,
before I
man,
get there.
you're ready
Straight up,
already, brother.
yeah.
Always
All
ready,
right,
bro.
all right. So let's talk some crypto. Okay, talk some
Yeah.
crypto. This is just a question. What are some three, maybe even two or three coins that you were looking at as like maybe in investing or trading into? Not financial advice, y'all, but what are some three coins that you looking at?
Yeah, always when I'm speaking about this stuff to people, I'll never recommend them to go and get something. All I recommend them to do is just look into the technology and sort
Hmm.
of try and understand what the technology is. Because if you own that technology and you understand how it works, you can create business on there. And not only that, like you're going to be part of something very unique. So you understand how the technology is going to go shape the new world, then you'll quickly find out what's important and what's not. And for me, it's the two or three. I'd say those X assets, the XRP or the XLM or the XDC, they're the three musketeers. That's the holy trinity right there.
Yep. Hey, makes sense to me. So yeah, them ISO2. Let me pull a little something up here. Let's see if I can find it. Um, I feel the same way. I've been more and more interested as we talked before. For me, I always looking at Algorand. A little
Oh
disappointed in
yeah,
the
bro.
price action, but it's in a similar vein. Definitely
Mhm.
XRP. Let me go to, where was I looking at? XRP has always been one of my favorites and probably one of them coins that it made me understand the technology and the use case of it. So I just want to pull
Uh-huh.
this up. Really, just right here, Swift to conduct more tests with CBD or CBDC projects. And we're talking about the banking network is seeking to build a system that can connect the digital currencies of different countries. And I remember recently you hit me up and sent me some information about the Scandinavian countries, right?
Mhm.
And can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So, um, a lot of these, there's corridors, right? So you have corridors all around the world, whether it be like North Africa to like sort of India, that region,
Like the
whether it
MENA
be
region
sort of,
is one of them. Yep.
yeah, like the Americas, like South America, North America, like Australia to sort of like China, that sort of way as well. So they have these different ones. So they got one set up over here, like in the Scandinavian countries, and it's with Denmark, Sweden, and Finland, and it's called P27. It's a P27 payment system, and
P27.
yeah, and it's with all the Nordic countries. So basically, all the top banks in those Nordic countries have come together to find a way to be able to send money cross borders in real time. Meaning that if you live in Finland, you can send money over to Sweden, and it wouldn't cost anything, and it would be settled instantaneously. So they're looking on that. They have something similar. I think it's built on RippleNet. I'm pretty sure it's built on RippleNet because a lot of these banks are Ripple partners too, and just the fact that you need a bridge in order to facilitate these cross border payments. Then if you're looking at something that acts as a bridging mechanism, you're going to look at like XRP to settle,
Yep.
or if they're using RippleNet, or if it's like R3 that they're using, it's going to settle in XDC. So, but I'm pretty sure it's built on RippleNet. But that whole region up there is set up. They're set up, and that goes live in the second quarter, which the second quarter starts tomorrow, right?
Hey, yes. Because definitely game changing. So we got blockchain technology. I mean, honestly, it only makes sense to use it in a digital ledger system. It's like you just said,
Of
like
course.
we all are making these global transfers daily. A lot of stuff is happening, but it's slow. The US have
Yeah.
just, again, even Europe too, both have proved that these banks are not, acting properly. They don't have great risk management, which is the whole point of them to be there, is supposed to manage the money. And we got these central banks printing like crazy. So then it does come down to Let me try to pull up some of these lists of these ISO 220 tokens. Too many zeros in there for me sometimes.
So many, right, to confuse you with that. Yeah, how'd you say it? 200 200 There's so many different ways, right?
Yeah. But right here, Quant, Ripple, Stellar, Hedera, IOTA, XDC network, and Algorand. Right.
Hmm.
So for y'all who watching right now, like Sammy said, pay attention to the technology that is underlying these blockchain ecosystems right here, because this is what the governments are looking at. But I do have a theory, maybe a little conspiracy, but I feel like what's happening is they're going to use and tell me what you know about this. They're going to use like side chains or like privatize XRP ledger chains. You know anything about those?
Yeah, they're obviously going to have their public and private blockchains, and I think that when they tokenize certain assets, that they can't do that on a public blockchain. It has to be on a private one. And I
Hmm.
think got like Goldman Sachs just come out pretty much saying that they can't tokenize anything on a public blockchain to do with their assets, meaning that yeah,
Yeah.
they're gonna
So
privatize it, dude. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on with yeah
yeah,
with
yeah,
all of that
exactly.
side of things too, man.
Yeah, because I think because how we was talking about on the show I had the other day, we had our guest on, but we all kind of agreed that like they would have to do certain things on a or private blockchain, right? But at the
Yeah,
same
yeah,
time, what we're all kind of using now with the XDCs, Algorands, are the consumer versions of it, which I think then
yeah.
businesses. There's a company called Travel X. They're tokenizing NFT tickets right now, so I know that they
Wow,
can use. Yeah, it sounds crazy.
cool,
Yeah,
man.
look into that. But they are, which makes airline tickets more efficient, more cheaper,
Hmm.
than we can essentially probably trade them to each other. But I think it was
Yeah,
in Latin America is where they're starting it right now. But just things
that's
like
nice.
that,
Yeah,
that could be public, right? Because we can all go look up public flight information, but like passports and all that, I think yes, that should definitely be private. But I think even
yeah,
the private, if we hear that governments are using, let's say Ripple, that makes us go buy Ripple. Honestly,
yeah.
so again, do the research, y'all. Do the research. Let me pull something else up too to pivot this conversation to get your opinion on this right here. With all these changes happening in the world, um, so yeah, Russia talks with the BRICS. So BRICS is or excuse me, not Britain, Brazil, Russia, China, India. I think Saudi Arabia just signed in with them and a few other countries, right? But a lot of people are concerned with this because the U.S. dollar's dominance could be threatened, right?
Uh-huh.
And then they're talking about creating a currency together. So, in composition, or the composition should be based on inducting new monetary ties established on a strategy that does not defend the U.S.'s dollar or the euro, but rather forms a new currency. So, what do you take on the BRICS potentially making a new currency for all these countries?
Yeah, they got it, and there's the partnerships that all of these separate countries have. That the countries themselves, and like through the banks and everything like that, they all have the partnerships with Ripple. Like they're going to be using XRP, and they're going to be using XLM, and they're going to be using XDC. All of those three X's is pretty much what they're going to be running their things with. Settle to do with settlements, payments. India, massive Ripple partner. Russia, probably running their digital rupee on the XRPL. The
Yep.
links with China and Brazil. They're going to be using those three ISOs. So the fact that they got their own monetary system, and I think it's an asset backed one where it's backed by
I
certain
think
metals,
gold
then
too. Yeah, silver and
gold,
gold.
and
Hmm.
they're going to be have to, they have to trade with each other, right? They're whatever they have is going to be interoperable. So it has to be able to function and bridge and be able to read the contracts and everything like that with the smart contracts in there. So it's interoperable. So any of those ISOs are going to be able to speak because if they have their own alliance and it's separate from the US dollar or the US CBDC, then they still have to communicate somehow, right? They still have to
Yep.
do trade somehow. So how are they going to do it?
It's gonna be on the blockchain,
Yeah, man, no
straight
doubt,
up.
100%,
Yeah,
100%.
because the other day they was it? I think it was Brazil. Yep, Brazil and China just did a big trade not using the US dollar. And so that got I seen everybody
Yeah.
on Twitter like, whoa, you know.
Whoa.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. And then I mean, it makes sense to me because after a while, I think it was, yeah, it was 1971 when the US dollar got took off the gold standard. And ever since then we just
Hmm.
see and then you learn, like we just said, China, Russia, India, these places are buying gold again.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. By
then
the tons.
yes, it's getting crazy. Russia,
By the
like,
ton.
yeah, it's crazy. So honestly, it makes me again get more into crypto, and then
Uh,
personally, then some of the biggest companies in the world, like Apple, I still think they're solid. But even Apple has announced they're moving one of their biggest factories over into India. So
yeah.
everyone's kind of on the same wave, getting away from all these tax problems that are definitely happening in the US and regulation and all that. So I'm seeing new world powers are getting stronger economically, or not new world powers, excuse me, other world powers. It's getting
Sure, man.
interesting. Yeah. But
For sure,
opportunity
dude.
there for sure.
That's it, mate. It's like now it's people are going to realize we're so early in this. We're so early
Yeah.
that we're at the party and the lights aren't even turned on yet, mate. You know what I mean? It's when people realize about this, yeah, it's going to all be about Web3. It's all going to be about blockchain. Everything's going to switch over. They're going to tokenize everything, like that they're
Your
tokenizing
shirt.
houses. Yeah, tokenized reality. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're tokenizing tires in Japan. They're tokenizing everything. The debt, when they tokenize the debt, that's just with payments. They're going to offset the carbon credits with the tokenization of that to do with energy, like what you're talking about with planes and the emissions and all of that is going to be tokenized. So that's the world that we're moving into, man. And if you can like see that we're moving into that world, that and there's so many opportunities to, learn about what this technology is or how to build on it or how to get involved in projects for the future. So, it's all there. It's all there for people to learn about and understand.
Definitely, y'all do your research. We over here researching. That's what get me excited and just prepping for the future. So let's talk about the next few years, right? Um, do you have any goals you'd like to share, like a 5 year in the next 3 to 5 years, talking about professionally and
Yeah.
investment wise, if you want to share those?
Yeah, no doubt. Like professionally, it's just a case of doing what we're doing now, just on a bigger scale. Getting around doing these workshops where we teach people about calisthenics so they can become certified to teach it, and then they get like a blockchain education with that. They're able to get a digital certificate in the form of an NFT, proof of
Mm,
knowledge, where they can earn from it. So we're looking to bring that onto a massive scale. I want to create some charities where we help build these calisthenics parks in more sort of deprived areas, or just have them around where more people can use them,
mm.
which would be a good thing, and just give back to the community that way, and just keep spreading the word and just keep trying to help as much as I can.
Damn, the calisthenics parks. First time I seen those, 'cause out on the where I live at Portland, Oregon, on the West Coast, we do not have those,
Uh-huh.
right? But I seen them in Paris. Blew my mind. I was
Yeah,
like,
dude.
oh yeah. And then it was just people out there doing pull-ups, what I mean, doing all kind of exercises. And I was like, damn. And I saw just health wise, a lot more people walk in Europe. Am I? Is that true? Is that
Yeah,
everywhere?
you see it, man. You see a lot more bikes, right? A lot of people riding bikes, a
Hmm.
lot of people walking, a lot of people running.
So
So
even with canes, they be out there like
yeah, just
moving
all
it.
old and just moving the cane real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's impressive, honestly. Well, yeah, so for me, it's the same thing, man. Just building, continue to do education, do my crypto and NFT workshops. I'm doing more of those. I've been teaching some podcasting workshops to the youth recently. So I want to continue to bring them into this fold because even more opportunity the younger you are, we all agree on that. So I'm just trying to continue the education and build these investment bags so that way I can go to more countries and just experience a lot more culture. That's what I really focus on this next several years.
amazing, man. Where's next stop for you, dude? Do you have anything
uh
lined up?
yeah,
You said
hopefully,
Portugal, but
yeah, Portugal and London
yeah,
is where I want to go. Not lined up yet. But
Cool.
there's a event in NF conference in Portugal in June, so that's what I'm like kind of leaning towards because business wise, a teachable moment is like definitely I can go over there and then get a little bit more tax incentives and write offs and deductions
Of course.
for
Yes.
doing business, but also then you take those few days to go hang out. So that's what I'm working on. But London, yeah, I got to go visit you out in London for sure. That's
We'll
that's a
get it
big
going,
goal.
mate. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We'll get it going, dude. We'll get it going. Whether you come up Scandinavia or England, I'm gonna come and link you anyway. It's cool, man.
Yeah, most definitely. All right. So let's slowly start to close out. Can you let the folks know where to find you and if they want to get any of your courses or get in contact for coaching, if they pulling up to any Scandinavia country or excuse me, Denmark and Copenhagen or
Yeah.
something and they want a workshop, how could they get involved?
Awesome. So you can find me on my website, which is nirvanamovement.com. It's got everything on there where you can, if you want to connect with me, you can book me in via Calendly or a link that's on my website. My programs are on there for anyone that wants to learn about calisthenics or wants to introduce like sort of mobility training into their everyday life. And then on Instagram, it's Nirvana Movement. I'm on there. I post quite regularly about workshops and what I have coming up. And then on Twitter as well, it's Nirvana Movement. So that's the socials that I'm on.
Excellent. Hey, make sure y'all go tap in with Sammy. He be active, literally. That's me doing
Yes,
pull-ups and
brother.
stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because hey, health is wealth, man. Health is wealth. All right.
No doubt.
Before you go, you got any like shout outs you want to do? Any words or jewels you want to drop for the audience?
Yeah, no doubt, man. I just want to say thank you to everyone that's helped so far, like Johnny and Harley and Tyler, Brandon from the WCO, Amin from Elite Web3 Solutions. Watch out for them. They've got a lot of cool stuff coming up with blockchain. They're working a lot with XDC. And yeah, just everyone that's helped. Thank you for having me on again and spending time out of your day to talk to me. So I hope the next time that we speak, we'll be meeting in the physical. And of course, there's not long left to before these changes start to happen. And I would say to people that might be on the fence a little bit, just look into the tech, and see what the future holds for it. And if you want to get involved, then get involved. You kind of want to be more so of someone that participates rather than like a witness or a judge with
Mm,
this. So again, uh, do what you need to do. But you've got people like Chris who watches YouTube channel. There's so much gold there. He taught me a lot. So I'm happy to call him as a mentor and as a friend too. So got the knowledge right there.
hey, back. Hey, I appreciate it. Back at you, Sammy. All right,
No worries,
y'all.
man.
You
Thank
heard it
you.
here. Make sure y'all tap in again. Subscribe to Passive Income Network. Pull up Sammy. I'll put all the information in the descriptions, Instagram and website and Twitter, so y'all can go tap in. All right, y'all. We gone.